Okay, أعوذ بالله من شر الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على رسول الله وعلى آل بيت رسول الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. As you see, inshallah, today we're going to have this wellness seminar, and I prefer to call it a wellness seminar rather than a health seminar, because a health is something totally different than wellness. Inshallah, we are going to talk about it, and I'd love to start with this quote from Imam Ali alayhi salam and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Imam Ali says, "Health is the best of blessings. As-sahha afdalul ni'am." And Rasulullah, he says, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes the most to be asked for well-being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala love to be asked for well-being. So inshallah, we are going to start with some of the purposes why we conduct these seminars and and webinars, and why we should spread this awareness about health, because as we know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, he always mentions that people who know are so different than people who doesn't know. And knowledge in the terms of the Quran is power. Knowledge is a tool for change, is a tool for enlightenment. So those who know, they really different, and their status is different from those who don't know. So that's why we try to spread awareness through these seminars and webinars, so we have much of knowledge and awareness, and to develop a higher consciousness. Because when we have awareness regarding the importance of and the nature of the food that we eat and their influence on us, because as we're going to see right now, there's a big relation, there's a huge relation between our food and our mind and spirit and soul. So the food affects all of our aspects. So if we have awareness concerning this important matter, then we can have a shift in consciousness. And as my professor who was teaching me natural medicine, he used in our first class, he said something. He said, health is the result of enlightenment. And from that time, it's just these words are in my head. Like, yeah, true. Why people sometimes are not healthy? It's not because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has planned this for them. No, it's because they didn't do their job in their enlightening themselves. They didn't learn, they didn't teach. So that's why we have in Islamic medicine many of the reasons when it comes to the disease, the reasons of the sickness. It is because of the person himself. It's not because it's a trial or it's a bala. No, because he himself, he doesn't have the awareness, and he himself, through his lifestyle and his diet, had brought his diseases to himself. So that's why with awareness we can, as they say, awareness is the greatest agent for change. With awareness we can change our lifestyle, we can change our destiny, we can change our food, we can make ourselves better individual, better human beings. We can make this life on this earth a better place just with the awareness. So how you look, where you choose to look, over time it has a ripple effect and can improve our life. So always remember this, that health is the result of enlightenment. Now we will go to some of the hadith by Imam alayhi salam, and I have here a bunch of hadith for Imam Ali alayhi salam on well-being. And again, I try to stress on the difference between well-being and health. A healthy human being doesn't mean a well-being human. So we are going to talk more about it, inshallah. So Imam Ali alayhi salam on well-being, he says, when health persists, it is unnoticed, and if it is lost, then it is noticed. If you have, good health, if you are in a young age where you have everything is going perfect for you, you don't feel how much health, how much wellness is important. But when you lose that health or that wellness, or when you start to feel that, oh my God, there's some kind of risk, and I will not be able to do my job, and I'll not be able to do that, then we will be able to know the importance of our well-being, and we will be able to know that it is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why Rasulullah was asked on the night of Qadr what we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that night, and he replied, well-being. And has been mentioned in Mafatih al-Jinan, in one of the Laylatul Qadr A'mal, that you should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for well-being, because if you have well-being, if you have wellness, then you are able to do your other jobs in life. You will be able to carry on your job, you'll be able to achieve, you will be able to connect, you'll be able to make this place a better place. So that will be the foundation. Also, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says nobody knows the value of these two things until they are gone, the youth and the wellness. And then he says again, how strange and foolish is man. He loses his health in gaining wealth. Then to regain his health, he wastes his wealth. So why we should go into that process? Why we don't take care about our health and lifestyle from the beginning? And then again, Imam Ali alayhi salam, your cure is in yourself while you don't know. And your disease is from yourself while you do not understand. So that's why we focus on well-being, because most of the times we are the reason of our diseases. Every disease that manifests outside is just a reflection of what we have inside. So if we cure the inside, if we cure, many aspects of just ourself, body, mind, and soul, then it's going to be manifested outside, and you are going to see a different you within a short period of time. So also, Imam Ali alayhi salam on well-being, these are really beautiful quotes, especially if they really understood. He said, with well-being, the pleasure of life will be found. And if there's any Arabic speakers here, they just can follow my screen. They can see the translation in Arabic. With well-being, the pleasure of life will be found. If you want to taste the pleasure in this life, you should have well-being. So what's the purpose of me having a great home, a good job, how many kids, cars, and monies? But I'm not able to taste a beautiful, recipe, or not able to smell the perfume of a beautiful rose, or I'm not able to see a mountains. I could go to Hawaii, but if I'm not able to enjoy that with the senses that I have, then I'm not going to feel pleasure in life. So here Imam Ali is establishing this foundation that in order to feel that pleasure in this life, you should have well-being. Otherwise you cannot feel all of the pleasures in the bounties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. And then he says no calamity is bigger than illness of the body, and he says no clothing is more beautiful than well-being. So all of these, they are establishing the importance of well-being. So well-being is not something complementary. It's something like, okay, I will achieve it later in life, or like, okay, once I grow up a little bit, and or once I become old, then I could take care of my body. No, we need well-being in every moment in our lives in order to achieve the maximum that we can achieve, because we have to put in mind that this life, it's not we are not here just to do few simple things. We are here to achieve. We are here to live into our full potential. If I am going to live like other people, or like other whatever, creatures Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, everyone can do that. Everyone can eat and drink and do simple things. But we are here to achieve and to live into to our full potentials. I don't want to just walk. I don't want to just achieve. I just want to achieve to my highest potential, through the best that I could do in this life. So why we do that? How we do that? Through well-being. So that's why we have to come into this awareness that life is a blessing, and it's one of the biggest blessings that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has gave us. Just by being here, present in this life, is just a blessing. And our bodies are a trust, are amana from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And if we fail to protect that trust, if we fail to protect the amana, that our bodies, then it's a sign of weakness upon this responsibility. One of the responsibilities that we have is to stay healthy, is to make our bodies stronger. And that's why Rasulullah has said, a strong believer is better than a weak believer. So we have this responsibility in one of, as one of the all responsibilities that we have. So if we fail in this responsibility, then it's a it's a sign of weakness. We are not those human beings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has talked in the Quran, and he said, inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. So another reason why we focus on health and well-being, because it falls into the big picture of the reason of our existence. As we always say, like, we are not just materialistic human beings that we have bodies, also we have souls, and these souls have to reach perfection. So I take care of my body because it's going to affect my soul. I don't take care just of my body because, okay, it's just a body and material thing and I want to look good and I want to, no. I take care of my body because taking care of my body, taking care of the food I eat, taking care of my lifestyle is going to affect my soul, and it's going to affect the way, and it's going to affect the, if you want to say, the destination. It's going to affect the way that my soul is moving through its destination to perfection. So that's why we care about food. That's why we care about lifestyle. And as we know, like, our finest destination is always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And can be done only through the soul. But the soul uses the body for its to go toward its destination. So if there's a problem in the body, then the soul cannot function properly. If there's a problem in the body, the soul is going to be affected, and thus my trip toward my final destination is going to be late. And I'm going to give you a quick example. If I eat, for example, a heavy dinner, if I sleep late, then I probably am not able to wake up for morning prayer. And it's not just that I just want to wake up for morning prayer. I want to wake up for even sahar time. So, the more I eat, for example, a lighter dinner, the more I have a dinner which is like more, according to my body temperament, the more I take care about these things, the more I have a stronger body, the more I can do ibadah, the more I can, do a worship during the night, the more I can do this day, this earth a better place during the day. So this is how it's going to affect my trip toward my final destination. And it's also related to the role which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted for me on this earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want us just to, to pray all the time, or, to do ibadat all the time. No, another form of ibadah is to have that role of khalifa, representative. I want to make this earth a better place. And how can I do that if I don't have a good body, if I don't have a body which is like, doesn't have any problems? I cannot do that if I'm sick all the time. I cannot do that if I don't have wellness, if I don't have health. So that's why it fits our destination in life. It's not just because of this dunya, not because of that this body is just limited to this dunya. No, it is connected to the akhirah. And one of also the main reasons is that we know that the shaitan has a big project on this earth. He has a plan which is against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plan. And that's why we see these GMO foods, we see, the big pharmaceutical companies, what do they do? So I have to fight this project. I have to find this shaitani project through eating healthy, through taking care of my body, through not having my stomach like a trash bin to the pharmaceutical companies. And here, when we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about it, He says that whoever kills a soul, unless for a soul or for corruption done in the land, it is as if he had slain mankind internally. And whoever saves one, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely. And you may ask, like, what is the relation between what you are talking about and this ayah? Is that when your soul is revived, or when you give such advices to another one, when you make his life better, when your life is better through food, as if you have revived a mankind, as if you have saved a mankind. And this is really important to have this awareness when we come to wellness and health, that it's not just about the way I look, or the way no, it's related to our final destination, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is related to the soul perfection. It is related to my being a representative on this earth, and all of these big plans that we have. So if we ponder on the Quran too, you will see that there's one ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah. I think this is ayah 186. It says, "O mankind, eat from whatever is on earth which is lawful and goodly, and do not follow the footsteps of shaitan." And we have, we can ponder a lot on this ayah, but just a few quick reflections. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has says, eat from whatever is on earth which is lawful. Lawful, okay, it's halal, so we know this. But why He said goodly, which means good? So here the scholar says, because there's a difference between lawful and good. Quran doesn't repeat these words. Lawful is halal, but good means tayyib in the Quran, which means it doesn't hurt you. So even if it is halal, it may hurt you one day. So you should stop. You should not eat that according to the Quranic recommendation, even if it's halal. And we are going to talk about it, inshallah. And then he says, don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. And here we say, oh my God, Allah, you are talking about eating and food. And so what the shaitan has to do here? Because the shaitan has these plans, has the plans to cause corruption in this earth, and a human being has the role to fight this corruption. And we can fight this corruption by the way we eat, the way we take our medicine, which is from the nature, not from the pharmaceuticals. Or the way from where we buy our food, not from like big stores, but just from supporting, for example, smaller agricultural, shops or whatever, farmers. So we could have all of these, just from this ayah, and there's more. So also, if we go to the hadith, we see that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is narrated in Bihar al-Anwar, he says there are two types of knowledge: the knowledge of the religion and the knowledge of the bodies. And here you can see how Rasulullah divided them. He said, well, there's two types of knowledge that you need in this life in order to survive. You need to know about your religion and you need to know about your body. Why these two together? Why he didn't say, well, you need to know about the stars? Why he didn't say you need to learn about, I don't know what, about science, about, I don't have no idea. Why he says, the knowledge of the body is because with the knowledge of the body, you are able to go more learn in the knowledge of the religion, and with the knowledge of the body you will be able to implement the knowledge of the religion. And some of the scholars here, they say, well, knowledge of the body sometimes is before the knowledge of religion, because with your body, with the wellness of your body, you could achieve much. But actually, if you have a sick body, then you cannot go and achieve the knowledge of a religion or other types of knowledge. So whatever I want to say here is that we have to have this understanding that when we take care of our bodies, it's not that I'm just doing it for this physical materialistic lifestyle dunya. No, I am doing it because it is connected to my final destination and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now we come to, after this introduction, we come to the true definition of health. When we think about health, we often refer to physical body, or like if the body is strong and it's pain free, then we say this body is healthy. But if the body is experiences like aches or pains, we say the body is sick, because we have just linked the wellness or the health just to our physical bodies, and we are not only a physical body. And this is when we have to come to this awareness. We are not a physical body, we are more than a physical body. We have a physical body, but we have a soul too. And as we said, our goal in life is to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through perfection. Then the body is the tool which is needed by the soul to develop and evolve. So when the vehicle is weak, when the body is weak, then it is difficult for the soul to perform for achieving its perfection. So that's why it has been said by our scholars, and sometimes I forget the scholar name, so I just put the whatever he said, and sometimes I don't know, I forgot what I read, sometimes the names. So it has been said that those with strong souls cannot leave their bodies weak. A true mu'min, a true believer, they cannot leave their bodies weak. They have to have to develop a, a strong body. Why? Because they care about health. They care about their souls. It's not just about their bodies. So always keep this in mind, that as a strong believer, you cannot keep your body weak. And the moment we realize our true selves, and we realize that we are not bodies but we are souls, you know like souls in those bodies. So the more we realize this divine nature, the more we know ourselves more. As Rasulullah and Imam Ali, they says, the one who knows himself, then he can know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the more you know yourself, the more you know your divine nature, the healthier you are, the more wellness you have. Because this realization of the true self, that you are a soul and you are in need for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this will create a feel of connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this connection to God, whatever religion you are in, or whatever, this connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you a lot of peace, is going to give you a lot of tranquility. And this is the basic of wellness. And this is basic in any, if you want to say, in any treatment. Even when like someone comes to me and I want to initiate any treatment, whatever, from whatever religion he is, he has to establish a connection with a source, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to realize his true self. And then after that, we talk about diet and we talk about herbs. And so for me, for us, like as a natural healers, the way I see it is that herbs and diets, they come as a secondary therapies to our, whatever we want to do. So our first therapy is that deeper spiritual connection. That's why you may see some people, they don't have anything, they have no disease, but they are not feeling happy. So we cannot say that these people are, they have wellness or they are healthy. So that's why people who long for these deeper spiritual connections, that we cannot call them healthy. So here we come to this realization that the moment I realize my true soul, my true self, and I make a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will start to notice that a lot of diseases will fade and will go away. And then I will, in the second, and also they can be done at the same time. I will apply like herbs and diets and all of that, in order to establish that good life, that pleasant life, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Nahl, that there's a pleasant life in this earth and we have to live this pleasant life through this, whatever we have. So what I want to make here, the point that I want to make is that, wellness and true health and true well-being starts from deep inside, starts from how peaceful you feel, from how tranquility you feel, from all of these feelings that make you always feel calm and peaceful. Why? Because you are connected with this deep spiritual connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this spiritual connection is going to enhance this in your life, and it's going to take you toward your goals in life, and is going to, drive you, and is going to, make you that better human being. And then you will take care of yourself and start applying herbs and diets, and not diets in the Western modern way, but I mean like a healthy lifestyle. So what I want to say here is that whatever is inside is going to show outside. Sometimes we have a lot of diseases outside, like we have constipation, we have headache, we have a lot of other diseases, even cancer. They are the result of whatever we have inside. So once the one which is inside is corrected, then we are going to see a lot of improvements in our outside. Sometimes constipation will go, sometimes headaches will go, sometimes cancer will go, just by correcting whatever inside, because it is a reflection. Always what is outside is a reflection for the inside. So that's why we have to aim for strong bodies. We have to aim for strong bodies, that they will be ready for the power of the soul. The soul is so powerful, and the soul can perform a lot of things. And you can notice that. I don't know if you have experienced any time like that, but notice in one of Layal al-Qadr, they always say try to eat light and not to eat heavy.
Sister Fatima,
Yes.
there is a message that a lot of people have lost the sound.
They lost the sound. So we have to aim for stronger bodies that will be ready for the power of the soul. And I was mentioning that, sometimes in Layal al-Qadr, they advise us to eat very light. And you notice that once you eat light, you will be able to perform so much, because the soul doesn't need a lot of food to perform. The way we eat and the type of eat is too much according to our needs. So what I want to mention here, that this soul is so powerful, and it can achieve a lot in this life, but it requires a strong body. That's why they say who have a strong soul, his body cannot be weak, because the body will be driven by the soul and not the opposite. So if we can have this analogy, like you have if you have a laptop, or I don't know, like something electrical, there's a microchip, which is the body, and there's an electrical current, which is the soul. If there's any problem in the microchip, like dust or whatever, then this electric current will not be able to go as smooth as possible into that microchip. So that's why it's the same analogy. If we have a weak body, which is like congested and which is like clogged, and the energy doesn't move and recycle there, then will be a problem for the soul in order to spread its power in that body. So that's why we need in this dunya, in order to achieve the way to perfection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why we need a strong body and a strong soul at the same time. So again, as we know from Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, when he talks about this, he mentions this point. He says, know that the strength of the soul follows the temper of the bodies, and the tempers depend on the air and change according to its places. So I'm just going to talk about this, the first part of this hadith, where Imam al-Rida alayhi salam says, the strength of the soul follows the temper of the bodies. So if you want a strong soul, then you have to have a strong body, because if your body is weak, then the soul is not going to be strong. It's not going to perform whatever it is supposed to perform. So that's why we don't have to underestimate the importance of the body. As they say, this is one of the quotes from the Arabic scholars. He says, why we don't have to underestimate the importance of the body and taking care of our body and eating healthy and following a healthy lifestyle, because the body is the platform of ascending to the sky of spirituality. If you want to reach spirituality, if you want to reach higher levels of perfection, it is the platform. It is the way where your soul ascends. It is the place where the ascension starts. If the platform is not good and is not strong, then you have a problem in your ascension. So that's why when we come to the definition of health, health is not just defined as a person who is free from diseases, or he free from free from sickness, or free from pain. No, a healthy person, I like to call it a well-being one, is a person who has a balance between his body, his mind, his spirit, and his social well-being. So the true health is based on the healthy functioning of many areas in our life: the physical part, the mental part, our life purposes, our social health, our relationships, our how we take care in the ecosystem, the ecology, the spirituality. So all of these components or compartments, they make the well-being individual. I cannot say, well, my spirituality is good, so I don't, it's not important to take care about physical body. Or I cannot say, well, my physical body is good, but I don't have a life purpose. Or I cannot say, well, everything is good, but I don't care to take care of whatever is happening with the environment. No, a true health, a healthy environment, a healthy human being, he has to have all of these issues into considerations. So any imbalances in any of these areas will cause a lack of harmony and will make us susceptible to diseases. That's why they say a good day is a medicine in itself. You sometimes you have just a good day, your day was good, that will be a medicine. So we have to change our understanding on what is medicine and what is true medicine. We have to come to this conclusion that true medicine is nature, that whatever medicines we have in our cabinets, which is from pharmaceutical companies, they are not medicines, they are poison. So we have to have this conclusion, that have to have this consciousness that nature is the true healer. That if I want to heal, I have to go back to nature. I don't have to go to pharmaceuticals. Why? For a simple reason, because whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created is divine, and it has the energy to heal. On the otherwise, whatever human beings have created in that sense, it is poisonous, and it's going to cause me more and more diseases. And this is, I think, we all of us come to this conclusion these days. We are living in the best country, as between quotes and quotes, as they say, but we have one of the worst, um, you know, um, like which goes back to medical systems, because it's based on pharmaceuticals, because it's never based on nature. So we have to have this realization. So I'm not going to go now in the deep definition what a healthy person is, because it's related to body temperament and digestive fire, and needs a lot of explanation. So I'm just keep it to another session, inshallah. So we have to know that the body is the foundation of everything we do, and it should be strong and vibrant. And also the five senses have to be strong and vibrant. The way, my eyes, my ears, my tongue, all of these senses have to be also strong and vibrant. Why? Because these senses are the instruments that in which we interact with the external world, and we receive information. And those senses are the door gates, or the ways to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I smell this beautiful rose, I will be able to smell, the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I look into these mountains with the eyes, I will be able to see the beauty of Allah. And so, with these five senses, they are the channels for the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we have this dua where Rasulullah says in I think in Laylat al-Nusf in Sha'ban, he says, Allahumma matta'na bi asma'ina wa absarina. He asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to entertain him, to make his senses strong. And we may say, okay, this is Rasulullah, why he needs to his five senses, And no, because Rasulullah knows that these are the gates of knowledge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they should be clear and they should be sharp. And this knowledge, it doesn't, and these five, the health of five senses and the body, it doesn't come just by reading or knowing information. And most of the information that we know from the West is not the true information, unfortunately. It's just based on the Western medicine that is funded by business. So we have to go into that clear understanding that the true medicine is what is natural. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created as divine. It's the natural rhythm. It's the natural waves that we have to ride in order to get healthy. And we know also that the mind is the home of consciousness. So the mind should be clear, should be centered, should be at peace. I should be able to focus when I do salat. I should have khushu' when I do my prayers. And we know that the heart is the home of faith. It is the home of light. It's the home of knowledge. It's the home of love. And it should be open and free from anger and resentment. And, and all of for this to happen, I have to achieve a state of balance in order to live in harmony and to live for my full potential. And it all start by food. And this is not my words or the things I have studied. Has been written in the books of our great scholars, that it is start by food. These things, in order to we achieve, it starts by food, because from food we create our reality. Our bodies, they change every 28 to 30 days. So imagine, whatever I put in my body, I am going to create my reality. If I put dead food, if I put dead energy food, I'm going to be dead. If I put alive food, life energy, I am going to be alive. So it depends on whatever I do. That's why we said, as Rasulullah, he says, oh, Allah grants us the best through our ears, eyes, and other faculties through which you are keeping us alive. And then we know that he says in other hadith, a strong believer is better and is more lovable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than a weak believer. So we have to have this mindset. So also, I like to talk a bit about this body, mind, soul connection with food, because food affects everything in us. It affects our bodies, it affects our soul, and affects our mind. So if we eat up like a rich, heavy, processed, greasy food, we are going to be heavy and lethargic, and we are going to have depression and sadness. And you will say, what is the relation between food and my sadness? Of course, it's related, because we have a list of a hadith, inshallah, I'm going to mention some, that, there is a pure food. In India, they call it satwik. I don't know, satwik food, or satwa food, which is a pure food, which is the fruits, the vegetables, the seasonal fruits, the vegetables, the whole grains, the healthy fats, the raw milk, all of that, it has a pure energy. And whatever I have from these food, I am going to create my state of mind. I am going to create my state of happiness, because it's related to food. If I put in my stomach, a garbage food, which is like greasy, processed, whatever it is, then it is going to have a dark energy. And this dark energy, because everything in life has an energy. So this life energy, which is in food, it's dead. If I eat it, if it's like a bad food, then it is going to transfer to my energy. Then I am going to be dead too. My soul is going to be dead too. So that's why we have to go for this list. And this is one of the hadith that Imam Rida alayhi salam, he says the origin of sadness is in the spleen. So those people who are searching why I am sad, there's a problem in their spleen. The origin of happiness is in the kidneys. So if the kidneys are happy, you are happy. And and then he says from them they they reach the face. So from there, their happiness and sadness arise. So they are the signs seen on the face. And that's why, some people who come for consultation with me, I will be able to tell so much from their faces. I can see the health of their liver from their face. I can see the health of their kidneys. I can see their sadness, even if they don't show it. It just shows in the lines that is there on their faces. So we have to have this. And another hadith for Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, too much sleep is brought by excess drink, and excess drink is brought by excess satiety. So both of these things, excess sleep and excess satiety and excess uh, drink, they weigh heavily on the self and keep it away from obedience. And now the Imam is connecting between the effect of having too much food and drinking and sleep on the effect on what? On the soul. It will make the soul far from obedience, and they will harden the heart from reflection and humility. So the way we eat, the way we drink, the type of food we eat, the type of food we drink, how much we sleep, what time we sleep, it affects the way how can we be obedient, and it's going to affect the heart too. So if you have a like I don't want to say a strong heart, no, but if you have a heart which is not which is not like empathetic or whatever, or it's hard, let me say, you don't have this connection, you don't feel that you have tears going on in salah or in dua, then it's related to food. That's why one of the imam, he says, okay, you want a pure heart, which is a heart which is soft, where you cry a lot, have lentils, don't have a lot of meat. So I'm trying here to establish the connection between the food that we eat and its effect on our soul and its effect on our ibadat and our purpose in life. I can see a raising hand, but I just have a few minutes. I'm going to end this and then you can have your question, inshallah. So that's why we have all of the hadith that says, for example, whoever who has grief, then he is unable to identify that grief, let him wash his head. So I'm trying here to establish that connection that we have with food and water and our physical bodies to our soul. So grief is something related to the soul or something related to the heart. What is it that if I wash my head with water, it will go? And other also Imam Ali says the health of the body is the absence of the envy. If you have hasad, then you cannot be healthy. So what's the relation between hasad and envy and my healthy body? Because the one who has envy, he's always be angry, and his hormones and whatever is inside is be like boiling, and this will affect his health. And also he says, like your body, your mind also gets tired, so refresh it with wise sayings. And he says, eating lentils soften the hearts, bring tears to the eye, and clears arrogance. And also he has one of the hadith concerning grapes too. He says, also grief is a half of old age. And he says, sorrow kills the body. So we have all of the hadith that connects that relation between the food. It connects the relation between the food, the mind, the body, and the spirit. There's a relation that they are never separable. I cannot achieve I cannot achieve a healthy, pleasant life if I don't take care of my body. And I'm not going to mention all of the hadith here because there's a lot. I just try to establish, a part of them. So also, um, um, the Holy Prophet says three things, for example, will increase the memory, and it removes the balgam. Boswellia, which is the frankincense, or Loban, brushing the teeth with miswak, and reading the Quran. And here my point, like, I asked Rasulullah, what reading the Quran has to do with my balgam? What reading the Quran has to do with what's miswak has to do with my memory? So here we come to this conclusion that our bodies are related to our minds and soul, And there's a connection between our lifestyle, food, and all of these things. And also Prophet Jesus, alayhi salam, he says, all children of Bani Israel, do not overeat. For whoever overeats will sleep much, and whoever sleeps much will not perform his prayer properly. And whoever does not perform his prayer properly will not be among the unmindful, will be among the unmindful. So this has been known by all prophets that there is a relation between the way we eat and our pleasant life. So there's no much time also to mention this thing, but I just wanted to mention it quickly that food is made up of food is three categories. Either it's a pure food, light food, it has a positive energy flow food, it gives you purity, it gives you peace, it gives you intelligence, it makes you make the right decision. And you will wonder, does food give me this ability? Yes, of course. And these foods are the milk, the herbal tea, the ghee, the grains, the fresh sweet, the fresh fruits, the fresh vegetables, the pure honey, unpasteurized honey, the nuts, the mung beans, all of these things. And we have a middle type of food, which is like that food that gives you motivation, but if you have it in excess, you will have problem in your ego, you will create desires, you will have attachments, and you will say, what is the relation between food and my ego? Yes, there is a relation, because these food are overstimulating, they create restlessness, they excite the mind, they create desires, they create temptations, and the more you get of them, the more you want more, and the more. So these are the coffee, the black tea, chicken if you have it in excess, onions and garlics if you have them in excess, very spicy food, chocolates, regular salt, eating too much fast, all of these things. And so that's why you have to have this one in moderation. And then we have the other part, which is the third category of food, which is the dark energy food. It's the food that destroy your resist that destroy you're resistant to diseases, kills your immunity, clouds your mind, promotes negative emotions. It is dull, it is heavy, it blocks the flow of the energy, it creates toxins. And this is a lot of red meat. That's why you should only have red meat twice a day, twice a week, and it should be lamb. Fast food, fried food, frozen food, canned food, stale food, refined sugars, tobacco, sodas, overeating. So all of this creates that heavy energy. That's why if you follow a pure lifestyle, you will be able to see that you are a different you within 1 month. And I have a lot of, experiences with that. So here we have to come to this conclusion that we are creating our bodies and realities from food. And, for a blessed life and for a life that I want to live it into a full potential, I do not have just to care about what is halal and what is haram. No, I have to care about tayyib, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, halal and tayyib, and good food. If a food it hurts me, even if it's halal, I should not have it. And here we come to this ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَى طَعَامِهِ. Then let man look at his food. It's not just look, into the food on while you are eating. Yeah, it is look at it, you look at it how it is made and all of these things, but no, it's more than that. Look, about the effect of food, what you put in your stomach and all of these things. So that's why we see that Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says to Kumail, O Kumail, the tongue reveals that which is in the heart, and the heart survives on food. So look on what you are nourishing your heart and body with, So it is really important to know what I am putting in my body, because it's going to affect my heart. It's not just related to my physical body. And also we know that the Ma'mun asked Imam Rida alayhi salam to write him a few things about health, and then Imam Rida alayhi salam says, I have of it a knowledge of this type of knowledge of what I have personally tested and came to know about its accuracy, my experience. This is Imam Rida saying like that. But at the end of that, that's my point here. Imam Rida says to him, nobody afford to be ignorant of that this the information that I'm going to say about health. You should not be ignorant about it. No one is afford to be ignorant of, nor excused for leaving it. You are not excused if you don't learn about these things. There's no excuse. And then he compiles whatever information, and then he gives it to Ma'mun. So that's my point. If I don't know, I have to learn. I have to seek knowledge so I get that. And also Imam Rida alayhi salam, he says, the body is like a good land, which is maintained by plowing and watering, so that its reformation lasts and its revenue increases and its plant grow. If you have a land, you don't water, you don't plant it, then it will not grow, it will not give you anything. And the body is like that. You want this body to flourish, to give you an outcome, you have to take care about, you have to take care of what you put in it. And then he says, if the land is neglected, it becomes spoiled and no plant grows therein. So therefore, the body is like such a land. It becomes good and well-being flourishes through organizing food and drink. And this is the hadith for Imam Rada alayhi salam. And then he says, reflect on the food which fits you and your stomach, and strengthen your own body and gives it to enjoy it. So estimate and carefully consider your own food. And here I come to the end of our session. We just have a few minutes. I'm just going to take 5 minutes extra because we started 5 minutes late. So why we also talk about that, why we are talking about the power of the soul, and why all of these talks, because there's a major purpose for that. Because if you can make your body under the control of a nafs, then it is why one of the major reasons for ibadah. And this is what Imam Khomeini has says in his, in one of his books. I think it is about Ma'raj al-Salikin, about the salah. He says that the the purpose of ibadat, all the ibadat that we do, the purpose of that is to make the body under the control of the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what happens in our life is the opposite, that we make our bodies in control of our nafs. So when we see something unhealthy, not healthy, we are not supposed to eat, we go to eat it. Why? Because our souls are weak, because our bodies are dominating over our souls. So whatever we do in this life from ibadat, the purpose out of that is to make the soul stronger. So it will be the boss, it will be the big boss, it will be dominating over our bodies. Because if you make the body the one who controls and makes, and he's like the control, he's the dominant, then you are a weak human being, then you don't have a willpower. Then where is the amana that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gave you? إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَةَ على السماوات والأرض فأبين أن يحملنها. That trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you is your willpower to choose. If you lose that sense, then your soul will be weak. That's why when we talk about these issues, our purpose is to make our soul strong, and our souls become our boss. They will be in control of the body, and they will control the food and the drink, not the opposite. And that's why we see that we have a hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, "Do not eat what you know is harmful, and do not favor your desires on the comfort of your body." Okay, your body likes, you want something, you are desiring something, but it's not good for your body. So Rasulullah, he says, don't favor your desires on the comfort of your body. So your desires, your body, the health of your body should be above your desire. And what do we mean by that is that your soul should be dominating over your body. Animals, what they have, they don't have like the soul that we have. So they live, we both of us live the same animal life as them. There's no different in that section. So what makes us different is the soul. They don't have that part. They are not in control of these things, although they eat only when they are hungry, they stop before being full. So we have to go into that level where we have the ability of our soul, of our nafs, to dominate the senses. Otherwise, we will be like, as the Quran says, kal an'am, we will not be different than those who have no mind. Why? Because now the senses, our human senses, our desires, they are dragging us, they are controlling us. And then if we are like that, then we are not those human beings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be. And then Rasulullah says, diet is the balance in everything, and the origin of medicine is controlling your lips, and the disease is adding food on the top of the food. So here what I want to mention is that one of the major secrets of health those who want to be healthy, but they don't know how to be healthy. And they tried a lot of diets. And, sometimes something work and sometimes something it doesn't work. And sometimes they lose a weight for a while and then they gain back the weight. This is not the way to do it. The way to do it is to strengthen your soul, to dominate over your senses, so you could have a healthy lifestyle all over your life. It's not a period of time where I do it just for dieting and losing weight and then I go back. No, once you start this route, then you will feel that it's a lifestyle and my soul is telling me what to eat. And because whatever is good for the soul, not whatever is good for my own desires and temptations. So that's why if you go back to the definition of health, a person is considered healthy if he is able of implementing what the soul wants on its way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have a health, if you want to know if you are healthy or not, check the prayer times. Check especially morning prayer. How do you wake up for morning prayer? Do you feel heavy? Because those timings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us wake up at these early timings because we are supposed to rise up at this time. If we have an issue with that, which means I have an issue in my body, if my body does not fully awake at that time and rise, then I have a problem in my body and I have to look to the reason. So that's why if you want to know if you are a healthy human being or not, just to check yourself. Is your body able to do whatever the soul wants to do or not? Sometimes, of course, human beings, they get sick, they have these fluctuations, but you will not be healthy until your soul dominates over your senses. So that's why whether the body is able to carry on with the soul by obedience towards perfection, then it is called healthy. So that's why we have a lot of things. So also Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, if you eat to fullness, then the punishment will be veil on the heart, drowsiness in the eyes, and laziness in the body. If you are lazy doing salah, if you are lazy doing ibadah, if you are not active, if you are not living to your full potential, if you are not serving people, if you are not making this earth a better place, then there's a problem in us. Then there's a problem in our food. There's a problem in our lifestyle. There's a problem in our bodies. So I'm going, um, there's a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, there's no time for that. What I want to make as a final note, that healthy diet leads, I don't want to call it diet, that healthy lifestyle, it leads to a, healthy body or a well-being body. And then that healthy body will take us into a healthy brain and a healthy mind. And then we'll have a self-realization and a soul connection. We'll have this connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then we will go to happiness just by starting that simple changes in the lifestyle. And believe me, it's not difficult at all. It is just that changes that every one of us knows in his fitrah. Everyone in us knows what to eat and what's wrong and what's not wrong, but our fitrah sometimes get masked. So sometimes we have this misinformation, or there's a lot of confusion going on. But once we go to our fitrah, we will be able to know what we do to get healthy. So I'm going to end here. There's a lot to say, there's a lot to speak. I'm going to end here. Just this is to give you just a quick look, a view of the point that I wanted to make. وصلى الله على رسول الله وعلى آل بيت رسول الله.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرج